Hypixel Skyblock 1.0. This update is set to be the biggest, most ambitious, and craziest update in Hypixel Skyblock history. The end update, the Slayer update, nothing compares, not even dungeons, to the scope of the 1.0 update. It's so crazy that the admins of the game have been posting threads upon threads about exactly what changes they are making in this update due to the insanity of what they're doing. Although it isn't set to release until a to-be-determined date in most likely 2022, the discussion has sparked one massive question among the entire community. I've seen it on threads, in voice calls, and plastered all over the comments of every single video I make about 1.0. That question: will Skyblock reset when 1.0 releases? This question may determine whether you're playing the game, you quit the game, or come back when Skyblock does actually reset with 1.0. Hello random people on the internet, my name is Banana, and today we're going to be answering the question of Skyblock's possible reset with version 1.0. If you enjoyed the video or if it helps you out at all, I'd really appreciate a subscription because not that many people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. It's free and you can always undo it later. Let's get to the video. So, resetting games similar to Hypixel Skyblock is actually pretty common in the scope of Minecraft. Looking at most other Skyblock servers, they have some level of seasons where players are going to get reset after a certain amount of weeks or months to keep the game fresh and to allow new players to join without suffering through the progression that a lot of people have bypassed, whether that just be by having loads of coins or by having insanely built up farms and a lot of other things on their islands. There are a lot more reasons to reset a game other than just keeping it fresh, and the majority of them come down to economics. Whether the servers run rampant with dupes, progression becomes too fast, or a money-making method becomes a bit too good, the economy can get a bit broken, and a quick click of the reset button can solve that problem very quickly. One thing that you have to look at when you're talking about a reset of the server is how long that server has been up, and if there was a precedent for a reset. These other Skyblock servers that have resets really do advertise them. They talk about how they are going to get reset at some point. We have gone over 2 years in Hypixel Skyblock with no mention of a reset at all, so anything of that sort would be pretty shocking and might get a lot of players to be very, very mad. So a reset, while it may seem nice in concept, I feel like it might cause a lot of players to quit. But let's see some of the arguments that people have towards resetting the game. When it comes to Hypixel Skyblock, the main argument towards resetting the game is inflation, the dreaded money becoming less worth, you know? It's a classic economics thing, and the dreaded Ruby routing gemstone mining money method has rocketed a lot of players into insane riches and caused prices of rare items to skyrocket. We don't have exact stats of inflation, we don't really know, but there definitely is a bit more of it each day now that everyone is pretty much NPC selling the gems that they mine. However, up until like 2 weeks ago maybe, there was basically no one NPC selling. It was sold player to player on the bazaar. It's a classic just system of people giving money to people supplying a thing. And it doesn't cause inflation for the rich people to become richer, it's just causing an increase in the disparity of wealth. And coins weren't being created in an insane amount. There definitely were people NPCing, there's always been people NPCing, but until recently the prices actually hadn't dropped beneath the NPC price on the bazaar. Nowadays that is definitely happening and there is inflation, but until the admins release data that they surely do have tracked, they're surely looking at the amount of NPC coins that are creating anything and just all of the inflation stuff, it's getting tracked. But we can't really look at it that much without seeing the direct data. If you guys think the economy is more broken than I'm making it out to be right here, definitely leave a comment down below because I'm interested in hearing if you think that Skyblock should be reset just because of the economy. Another thing that people reference in the argument to reset the game is the difference in just player ability, I guess would be the wording that I would use, between something like a late game player and a hyper max endgame player. This was definitely a lot more noticeable before they made a couple changes in the game, such as the strength nerf and the sword swap nerf, but it can still definitely be seen that a lot of content is very easily done by the hypermax super endgame player who puts in all of the hours, but the casual players a lot of the times can't do some of these updates. What comes to mind immediately is Enderman Slayer and Master Mode. These updates are very easily soloed by someone who is actually putting in a lot of time in the game, but if you aren't putting in this insane crazy amount of grinding and time into every aspect of the game, you're not going to be able to do those that well. Now, I think that that's good. I think there should be some endgame content, but having this huge disparity of a 5% of players that can actually do a lot of things and a 95% who are getting screwed out of new content is definitely a bit scary. But it seems like this problem may be getting looked at a little bit with 1.0, because they've mentioned a couple things in the forum threads, such as removing toxic experiences, changing bosses to allow for equal loot opportunities, and changing the lobby matchmaking to put early game with early game and late game with late game. So the experience of the players may not be getting that much different, but it definitely is going to at least be pushing them away from each other, so that late game players aren't going to be stealing your aspect of the dragons. They aren't going to be out damaging you on everything and ruining your chances at loot. And the early game players are going to be able to group together and do a lot more things. We can't really judge 1.0's progression yet, because that's pretty much what this argument comes down to. It's like the progression gets a bit sharp, the scale tips really far once you get to a certain point, but they're changing a lot about progression. They're changing a lot about things even up until 1.0, so we can't really get a huge judge on this until we actually see what they're going to do when it comes to progression in 1.0. So do I personally think Skyblock will reset? No, there is no way that they could reset this game. There are people who have dumped in over 8,000 hours. Looking at you, Death Streaks. My guy's legit pumped in so much time onto this game. There are so many people that have dumped in time and insane amounts of money. Like, there's some psychopaths who have like 74 million fame in Hypixel Skyblock, meaning that they've spent like $1,000+ on the game. They've dumped all of this time and money into it. So resetting it without getting these players to immediately quit the game, it's pretty much an impossible task. And if the admins went and did something like that, I'm sure that it would maybe push some people to join the game. It would maybe be like, oh, it's a fresh start for everyone. Maybe I can come back, try and enjoy it again. But I'm sure that you would see a vast majority of a lot of these people that have grinded so much time into the game be absolutely livid that all of their time has basically gone to waste. But does my opinion matter? No. Only the admins have the power to make these changes in the game, and only the admins have opinions that actually matter on what is going to happen in the game. And luckily, Jay of Armin actually did respond to a comment about a Skyblock reset by saying, nope, Skyblock won't reset. However, we do understand the appeal of a world reset and are looking to generate the same appeal without resetting the game in any way. It's not necessarily in relation with 1.0 though, more like something we always had on our mind and want to experiment with. So according to the lead game designer on Skyblock, we will not be seeing a reset in 1.0. They're looking to generate similar appeal to a reset, and I don't know exactly how they're going to do that. They can definitely find a way to do that without destroying the grind of the millions of players that have just done a bunch of stuff in the game. I think Heart of the Mountain was a great example of progression that they actually went and made a lot of people to do, because when this came out, everyone was pretty much on the same playing field, and it took just as much time for someone to grind this up as like any early game player. Everyone was pretty much on a level playing field, and I feel like that is great. So maybe they could inject something like that into the whole of Skyblock. Skyblock levels are going to be a new way of progression. There's going to be a lot of new things in 1.0 when it comes to progression, whether it be requirements, or just a whole new skill trees. We legitimately have no idea the scope of this update yet, and I'm sure that all of these things that they add will breathe new life into Skyblock without actually resetting it. I'm excited to see whatever they do that isn't resetting the game, because if they reset it and my 5,000 hours just go to waste, I would be very mad. And I'm going to be making videos on it no matter what they do. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it or it helped you out, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.